What's going on, everyone? Gelman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me go ahead and hit record. We'll get right into the video. So there's a couple articles that I wanted to cover real quick. We'll do that first, but just to kind of cover right off the bat, small red day for Apple, 85 cents red on the day, 0.69%. Not too terrible though, because if you take a look at the Nasdaq, down over down 1.12%. Dow Jones down 318 points, which is 0.97%, and then the S&P also down about 0.8%. So compared to all that, Apple was actually a little bit better than all the indexes. What a difference. As we've seen kind of Apple being weaker. The overall market was weaker today, and Apple was a little bit less weak than the market. Couple things that I want to look at, you guys, real quick right off the bat is this article that was published by Benzinga. Taking a look at analysts and what they are rating Apple. So bullish, we've got 5 and 1, somewhat bullish, 2, 9, 1, indifferent, 0, 2, 2. Key thing though, somewhat bearish and bearish, 0 and 0. So that's what we are talking about here. These are just kind of price targets, price estimates. Key thing to look at here, street low is somewhere around the 116 mark, I believe, and street highs between 170 and 180. Or 175, okay, perfect. So average is actually 155, high of 175, and low of 116. So let's do that real quick on our chart, right? So let's take a look at, if we get the low that they're talking about here, from where we ended the day today down to 116, that's about a 5% downside. However, if we can go to the average, I'm not even talking about like the high of 175, I'm talking about the average consensus price target. We're talking about over a 25% increase. So great news there for us. At least analysts think that Apple is, going to do well. Average price of 155.16, high of 175, and low of 116, which actually we're not too far away from. So that's great news. The current average is also about 11.6% higher from the previous price target. So that's, again, good for us, right? Because these analysts are increasing their price target for Apple, which is great. And then what we're talking about is buy, sell, hold, and how many of them have kind of maintained outperform, and assuming the outperform, right? So again, we talk about Apple news all the time. If you watched my channel last week, we talked about the wearables increase in AirPods, Apple Watches. We also talked about services increasing, and then we talked about the bull case of 225. So all of that could happen. Analysts are staying kind of optimistic. It's all a matter of when the market starts to, really push the right direction, and when we also kind of can get past everything we're facing with the inflation fears and with the 10-year bond yields. The other thing that I want to talk about here is, now, before I start this, I don't usually like to look at this as a concrete, like, this has to be good news, because I've seen the opposite happen, right? There's a lot of reasons people can buy calls. People can spend a lot of money on calls. Simple reason is they're bullish on the company. They want to take advantage of it. They buy calls. They take advantage of it. They could also be using it as a hedge of some sort. They could also be using it as a way to, I don't know, do something else. My point being, yes, that this person came in and bought 120 calls expiring April 2021, and spent a lot of money on it, right? They had a sweep. Sentiment was bullish. What I do want to talk about is, that doesn't necessarily mean that this individual is necessarily just spending a lot of money thinking that it is going to go up. So they bought a 1,000. Volume of 1,000, right? They bought 1,000 calls of this strike price, which I could look up real quick. So 416, 120. Let's see what that would be. So go here, go to options, 416 and 120. So that would be about 5. So they bought, this is $500. All right, $5.20. or last price, let's take $505, right? $5.05 times 1,000. So someone's betting 500 grand on the 120 call. Now again, don't go out and just buy this, right? But it kind of gives us an idea that someone is spending a lot of money to put this bullish bet on Apple. And if you like what I'm using here, I'm using Webull. Link will be in the description. You can trade options on here for free. And if you put some money in, we both get some free shares. So again, that's what I wanted to cover here. And then, this kind of talks about, the overall kind of market being down as Powell came out, right? So this week, the Fed has been talking pretty regularly. They talked about the U.S. economy being much improved. Treasury yields backed off from recent high. And then, a lot of stocks kind of moved accordingly. Now, one thing that I have talked about recently is we are getting a shift from kind of big tech, which has done really well in the pandemic, to other stocks that have been more depressed, namely airlines, value stocks, right? The names that have been beaten down. Now, even airlines right now are selling off with the fear of coronavirus halting the summer travel that we were all hoping for. So it's been a kind of a weird situation, but we are still seeing, some growth names. That being said, today, all the indexes were down pretty decently. So let's take a look at Apple. Price action was a little bit weird today. So yesterday we ended the day kind of here in the 123s. In the open, we were looking kind of red, and then we pushed up right out of the gate, tried to break this 123.69, perfect rejection right there, came back down, wrestled VWAP only to push up, got rejected again, 123.76. And then again rejected, right? Take a look at that. We were able to make it like 7 cents higher than this line, sold off, broke below VWAP, came above VWAP again. And then take a look at this crazy candle taking us from 123s to 124. We finally broke above the 123.69, and then we sold off again, pushed up, this time couldn't even make it there, and then sold off into the close. So things that I like is this push that we saw breaking into the 123.69, even though we weren't able to do it 1, 2, kind of 3 times. We did break through it very, very momentarily. Obviously, what I don't like is we couldn't hold it, we sold off, and the fact that we ended the day kind of towards the low of day, and also that we are below the VWAP line. Let's take a look at the daily chart and we'll see what we see there. So again, I just want to quickly point out that yes, we did have a red day. We did drop today overall, but we did make a higher high and a higher low than yesterday. So at least that is some good news. RSI is looking good too. Let's talk about our future levels of support, future levels of resistance. So first level that we have to break above, you guys know already, is this 123.69, which also actually happens to be where our 21 EMA is, which is 123.72 currently. Sometimes that happens, right? The lines actually coincide with our levels, which either provides great level of support or a greater level of resistance. In this case, it's a greater level of resistance, unfortunately. So that's what we're seeing on the upside, you guys. This, I think, is a pretty decent resistance for us to break above. And again, my goal for Apple is to get above this 124.80s. If the market starts to improve, I'm looking for that to happen in the next day, maybe 2 days. Establish that as a good level of support, that 89 EMA in the 124.80s, and then we start to push up from there. After that, the level I'm looking at would be this 126.60s, and if we scroll out, that's a level that we've not really been able to maintain pretty much going back to late February, right? Every time we come above this level, we drop right back down the very next day. So that's what I'm looking at, you guys. If we break 123.69, I'm looking at 126.60s, and then in between that, I'm looking at the 89 EMA 124.80s. That's kind of a key level for me, at least, to capture, so we can establish that as a solid base, and then we start to push up from there. On the downside, we've got this 8 EMA, right, coming in right at 122.37, so about 30 cents down. But if that's not enough, we've got the 121.48 level as well, and then we could drop all the way to 119 if we don't stop at the lows of the previous days. Good thing, even though we had a red day today, is that we were making higher high, higher low for the past 3 days. That's always a good sign. Would much rather see that than a red day and also not making highs. But now we need to kind of, get in gear and definitely push through this to keep making higher highs and to push towards this 89 EMA. Look, I think it depends on the market. I think the Fed talks again tomorrow, so it depends on what they have to say, how the market reacts to it. Definitely thought this week was going to be better with stimulus money potentially coming into the market, but we've either not seen that, or maybe we have, and the kind of selling pressure has just been stronger than the buying coming in. So that's what we're seeing for Apple. Quickly though, what I want to cover is the S&P 500. Again, right at that 21 EMA. So if we bounce here in the 389.60s, great, we start to push up, I think, and we got resistance at 392 next, and then 394. But if we don't, we got run room down to the 387s, which is about $2 down, where we were just 2 trading days ago. So that's what I'm looking at there. And QQQs, I think we've got some solid level of resistance kind of here in the 320s, right? And so once we can break 320s, I think we can make the next leg higher into the 324s, which we need to knock out 320 right here, 324, and then I think that gets us set up for the next leg higher in the overall markets. So that's what I'm looking at, you guys. Hope you guys are having an okay start to the week. I think I was definitely red today. Yesterday was, I think, a flat day for me, so I don't know how you guys are doing. Hopefully a little bit better than me, but that's okay, right? Some green days, some red days, more red days recently, but that's okay. I'm in it for the long term. Continue to hold my Apple shares, remaining bullish on Apple. Continue to hold that call going out to July, even though I'm down to close to 35 or 40%. Giving it another week or two to see how it goes, because I bought myself some time. Might as well use that and kind of see if things can turn around before I officially call it quits. So that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.